Hey friends, welcome to Everyday English. My name is Lisa and this is your easy listening English learning podcast that you can enjoy with your cup of coffee. My question for you today is, have you seen any good movies lately? This question is to ask about movies someone has enjoyed lately. It's also a way to find new movie recommendations. There are so many great movies out there. Asking friends and family for recommendations helps take the guesswork out of choosing a movie for your next movie night. In starting a conversation about movies, you might find that you and a friend both enjoyed the same movie, and from there you can share your thoughts and impressions about the movie. Today we'll go over some popular genres, that is, categories of movie, like action, comedy, and more. We'll also talk about one or two popular movies in each genre. We'll talk about how to describe movies you enjoy, including sharing a synopsis, which is a quick summary of the plot, and we'll finish the episode with ways to recommend a movie to someone else without giving away any spoilers. Spoilers are details that might ruin the story for someone who hasn't seen the movie yet. So if you're looking to expand your movie-related vocabulary or just want to feel a bit more comfortable discussing films in English, you're in the right place. Let's start with action movies. They are fast-paced and full of energy. They usually feature a lot of physical stunts, chases, and battles. The movie Die Hard is a classic action movie from 1988. In this film, New York cop John McClane ends up taking on a group of terrorists inside a Los Angeles skyscraper. The original script for Die Hard was actually written for Commando 2. It's interesting how scripts can sometimes be adapted for entirely different projects. A movie script, also known as a screenplay, is the written blueprint for a film. It outlines everything that happens in a movie, including the dialogue, which is what characters say, actions, what the characters do, and screen descriptions, how the environment looks and feels. The script also provides directions for camera shots, character movements, and any special effects. Scripts are essential because they guide everyone involved in the production, from the actors and directors to the crew in charge of lighting, costumes, and sound. They ensure that the story, emotions, and visuals of the film come together as planned. One of my favorite genres is comedy. These are funny films that make you laugh. They often feature humor through misunderstandings, ridiculous situations, or witty dialogue. The Hangover from 2009 is a comedy where three friends wake up after a bachelor party in Las Vegas only to realize they've lost their groom-to-be friend. As the friends set out to find the missing groom, they piece together what happened the night before. They encounter a series of outrageous and bizarre situations. This movie fits the comedy genre perfectly because it's filled with gags, which are those funny or ridiculous situations, and well-timed punchlines, which is the climactic moment of a joke, the part of the dialogue that delivers the humor. Drama films focus on real-life challenges and emotional depth. They're often very character-driven, and one standout drama is The Pursuit of Happiness from 2006, starring Will Smith. The movie follows a struggling salesman who's trying to create a better life for his young son. Will Smith gives a stellar performance in The Pursuit of Happiness, fully capturing the emotional highs and lows of a man struggling to provide for his family. His portrayal of Chris Gardner feels raw and authentic, making the audience deeply empathize with his character's journey. Smith's ability to convey determination, vulnerability, and love, especially in scenes with his on-screen son, played by his real-life son, Jaden Smith, adds a touching personal layer to the film. What makes this movie such a good drama is the emotional depth it explores. We watch the character arc, which is the personal growth and change over time of a character, and listen to the powerful monologues where the characters are expressing their deepest thoughts. Friends, do you like horror movies? Because I absolutely do not. I can't sit through them at all. Horror films are designed to provoke fear and discomfort, and they do this by playing on our deepest anxieties. Whether it's through psychological tension, supernatural events, or just outright violence, horror movies aim to keep you uneasy the entire time. The Exorcist, released in 1973, is a classic horror movie. It's about a young girl who becomes possessed by a demon, and the story follows two priests as they try to save her by performing an exorcism, which is a ritual to drive out evil spirits. The Exorcist was so terrifying that it was banned in several countries, which tells you just how unsettling and controversial it was for audiences at the time. It's filled with jump scares, those moments that come out of nowhere and make you physically jump, and builds a creeping sense of suspense that keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. Our next genre, thriller, is a bit different to horror. While horror movies often use supernatural elements and gory scenes to scare the viewer, thriller movies focus on building suspense and tension through a sense of mystery, danger, or uncertainty. Thrillers create psychological excitement, often involving crime, deception, or complex storylines. A classic thriller is the 1960 movie Psycho from well-known director Alfred Hitchcock, where the chilling tale unfolds in a secluded motel revolving around the mysterious Norman Bates and the shocking secrets that he harbors. The film uses masterful plot twists, those startling turns that leave us breathless, and its clever use of red herrings, which are misleading clues that keep us perpetually guessing. In true Hitchcockian style, Psycho crafts a narrative that delves deep into the psyche, inviting us to question our perceptions and fears. Even as someone who doesn't like sitting through suspenseful movies, I think this film is an absolute masterpiece. Romance films focus on relationships and emotional connections. One of the most well-known romance movies is the 2004 movie The Notebook. The Notebook tells the story of Noah and Ali, two young people from different social backgrounds who fall deeply in love during the summer of the 1940s. The film is known for its sweeping love story and emotional depth as Noah and Ali face various challenges, including societal expectations and personal hardships that threaten to tear them apart. The story is told from the perspective of an elderly Noah reading their love story to an older woman in a nursing home. The movie explores themes of first love, second chances, and the sacrifices people make for those they care about. The Notebook is a movie adaptation of the Nicholas Sparks novel, which means the film is based on the original story from the book. A movie adaptation takes a written work like a novel and transforms it into a screenplay to be acted out on screen. While adaptations try to stay true to the main themes and plot of the book, changes are often made to fit the pacing, visuals, and storytelling style of film. In The Notebook, the core love story between Noah and Ali remains intact, but some of the scenes or details may differ from the book to create a more cinematic experience. This is common in adaptations as filmmakers choose what works best visually and emotionally for audiences. What places this film in the romance genre is the emotional chemistry between characters, that is, how well they connect on screen, and the dramatic love triangle, which is when a character is torn between two romantic interests. Science fiction, or sci-fi for short, explores futuristic technology, alternate realities, and sometimes deep philosophical questions. A standout film in this genre, and one of my personal favourites, is the 1982 movie Blade Runner. set in a dystopian future where synthetic humans, known as replicants, are created to work on off-world colonies. The plot follows a Blade Runner named Rick Deckard, whose job is to hunt down and retire, the word for kill in the film, rogue replicants. One of the most iconic elements of Blade Runner is its stunning visual style, blending futuristic, neon-lit cities with a dark, gritty atmosphere. Director Ridley Scott created this world without relying on modern CGI, instead using detailed models and practical effects, which gives the film a timeless, immersive feel. Blade Runner explores advanced technology like artificial intelligence and its implications for what it means to be human. The film's dystopian setting, philosophical themes, and groundbreaking visual effects are all classic elements of a great sci-fi. Blade Runner is also an adaptation of a novel called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. This is actually one of my favorite books as well. While Blade Runner stays true to some of the core ideas of the novel, like the exploration of artificial intelligence and what it means to be human, it also diverges in some significant ways, especially in its tone and visual style. The novel has a much more introspective and philosophical feel, while the movie leans more into its dystopian aesthetic. Both, however, challenge audiences to question the nature of humanity and consciousness. Fantasy movies transport us to magical worlds, full of wonder and adventure. In the fantasy genre, we have the Lord of the Rings movies. I'm going to talk about The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the 2001 movie, where a young hobbit named Frodo embarks on a perilous quest to destroy a powerful ring that could bring evil to the world. Did you know that most of the breathtaking landscapes you see in the movie were filmed in New Zealand, making the scenery as unforgettable as the story? What makes this movie a great fantasy? It's the presence of mythical creatures like elves, orcs, and wizards, along with epic battles and a rich sense of magic that runs through every part of the journey. All of these elements create a world that feels both expansive and enchanted, which is really the essence of fantasy. Friends, what was your favorite childhood movie? One of my favorite movies growing up was Toy Story. Toy Story is an animated film which uses animation techniques to tell stories. In this film, toys come to life when their owner isn't around, leading to an adventure involving Woody, the cowboy doll, and Buzz Lightyear, the new space toy. I remember watching Toy Story and its sequels many times as a kid. It's a movie I'd always go back to. Did you know Toy Story was the first feature-length film made entirely with CGI? I mentioned CGI in our sci-fi discussion. CGI, or computer-generated imagery, is a type of digital technology used to create visual effects in movies, television, and video games. CGI can range from small details like adding a background to a scene, all the way to creating entire characters or worlds. It's commonly used to bring fantastical elements to life, like mythical creatures, space battles, or impossible stunts, by generating realistic images that would be difficult or impossible to create in real life. Our last movie genre is documentaries. Documentaries focus on real-life events, people, or issues. Some of the best-known nature documentaries is probably David Attenborough's body of work. His 2020 documentary, A Life on Our Planet, is a powerful documentary that offers an intimate look at Attenborough's life and career while also addressing the environmental changes he's witnessed over the decades. Did you know this documentary became a global hit and helped spark conversations worldwide about climate action? It's one of the most impactful environmental documentaries in recent years. As a natural science lover, David Attenborough is someone I truly admire because his life's work has made an incredible impact in the world of conservation. The documentary includes archival footage, that is, old video clips from Attenborough's work spanning decades, and an in-depth, real-life perspective on our planet's ecological changes. It captures the essence of the genre by documenting Attenborough's journey while advocating for real-world change. Friends, we've just made it through 10 movie genres and popular movies, and I hope you're still with me. Now, let's dive into how to talk about movies you love. When someone asks, "Have you seen any good movies lately?" being able to express why certain parts of the movie stood out, whether it was a gripping action sequence, a memorable character, or a compelling storyline, makes for an interesting conversation. For example, if you enjoyed the action scenes in Die Hard, you might say, "I really liked the action scenes in Die Hard. The fast-paced, high-stakes battles kept me on the edge of my seat. The stunts were also very cool to watch, very skillful and captivating." If you've just watched a drama like The Pursuit of Happiness, you could say, "The characters felt so real and relatable. I really connected with the characters' experiences and challenges. It's like you can find a bit of yourself in every character." For sci-fi fans, you could describe Blade Runner by saying, "The movie was very thought-provoking. Its exploration of artificial intelligence and humanity made you think about what it really means to be human. The plot kept me guessing the whole time. I liked that it had plot twists that were unpredictable." Here are some specific words to use when describing films. Some you may have already heard in the episode. First, we have plot. Plot is the storyline or main events of a movie. We just talked about the plot in Blade Runner. Another example, in the thriller Psycho, the plot is filled with suspenseful twists, making every moment unpredictable. We also have dialogue. Dialogue refers to the spoken exchanges between characters. In The Hangover, for instance, the dialogue is full of quick, witty exchanges that drive the comedy. Dialogue plays an essential role in defining a character's personality and sense of humor. In The Hangover, the characters' words create humorous misunderstandings to add to the absurdity of their adventures. Cinematography. Cinematography is the way the movie is filmed, including how scenes are framed and lit. Take The Lord of the Rings, for example, where the cinematography beautifully captures sweeping landscapes and close-up character moments, making the fantasy world come alive. Next, we have soundtrack. Soundtrack is the music that accompanies the movie. Soundtrack sets the mood and enhances the story. In The Notebook, the soundtrack intensifies the emotional scenes, deepening the impact of the character's love story. Friends, do you have any movie recommendations for me? If someone asks for movie recommendations, you might ask them what kind of movies they enjoy. They'll either tell you some movie genres they like or name a few favorite movies. From there, you can give them some recommendations based on the kinds of movies they like. For those who enjoy horror, you might say, "If you like spine-chilling stories, you should definitely check out The Exorcist. It's a classic that's full of suspense and has some truly terrifying moments." Now, if you're chatting with someone who loves romance, you could say, "You should really watch The Notebook. It's a must-watch for anyone who appreciates heartfelt love stories. The emotional connection between the characters is so powerful, and it beautifully explores themes of first love and second chances." This way you emphasize why it's a must-see without spoiling the plot. And if a friend is curious about documentaries, you might say, "If you're interested in real-life stories, you should definitely check out A Life on Our Planet. It's an eye-opening documentary that provides a personal look at environmental changes over the decades through the perspective of David Attenborough's life's work. David Attenborough's insights are truly inspiring, and it's one of those films that stays with you long after watching. This gives them a taste of the film's impact while encouraging them to see it for themselves. When recommending movies, it might help to use some specific vocabulary. For example, when you say recommendation, you're suggesting something to someone. You could say, I have a great recommendation if you love horror or some other genre. You can also talk about must-watch films. Must-watch films are those you feel others absolutely need to see. For example, you could say, The Notebook is a must-watch if you love a good romance. You might also want to mention films you think are underrated. Underrated movies are good movies that didn't get the attention or recognition you think they deserve. For example, the documentary A Life on Our Planet is really thought-provoking and inspiring, but often gets overlooked, potentially due to its serious subject matter. Friends, I want to hear about your favorite movies and get some recommendations from you. Can you let me know, have you seen any good movies lately? What kinds of movies do you like? What was your favorite childhood movie? What is your most watched movie? That is, the one that you go back to time and time again. If you have stuck around to the very end of this long episode, I want to say a big thank you for supporting this podcast, and I look forward to hearing your movie recommendations, and I will catch you in the next episode.